All right. How is everybody doing today? This is L.A. Kendrick with another tale from the vault of Would You Dare. Here we talk about everything supernatural, cryptid, demons, UFO, paranormal, ultra-dimensional, you name it, we talk about it here. You got to keep an open mind, take this with a grain of salt, or however you process it. Yeah, I said process it, but I mean process it. But nonetheless, we've all experienced some kind of negative energy, what we consider either demonic, evil, or something of that nature. And you see it all the time. In politics, you see it all the time. You see it in schools, you see it in relationships, you see it in the workspaces, you see it all over, right? So what we're going to do is going to talk about a couple. Yeah, they're called the Warrens. All right. They specialize in this. Whether you believe in heaven, hell, good, evil, whatever. I've seen some things in my life that I can't explain that don't make any sense to me. But you can definitely get a feeling when you're around it. There's an evil spirit in it. Even some buildings that you walk into. But like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as usual, the party don't start till you walk in. And now that you're here, let's begin. Let's get right into it. We're talking about the Warrens. Ed Warren, born September 7, 1926, was born and raised in the city of Bridgeport, Connecticut, on the tough east side. That part of the city was known as the Bloody Bucket because it was a frequent hangout for hoodlums and gangsters. While Ed was a boy, he lived in a haunted house from the age of 5 until 12. His father, then a police officer, would explain to young Ed that the strange occurrences witnessed in the home had a logical explanation. But, of course, his dad never did come up with a logical explanation. There were times when Ed would be out playing, and if he returned to the house and no one was home, he would not enter the house, sometimes staying out for hours in the freezing cold weather. Ed would see ghosts, hear footsteps, pounding signs, and rapping on walls frequently inside the house. This frightened him, but also made him want to learn more about the types of phenomena he had encountered. When Ed turned 17 on September 7, 1943, he enlisted in the U.S. Navy and served with the armed guard aboard a merchant marine ship. He was decorated for heroism after saving a fellow sailor from icy waters after the ship caught fire. Lorraine Warren, born in January 31st, 1927, was born Lorraine Rita Morgan in Bridgeport, Connecticut. She attended prestigious Loran Hall Private School in Trumbull, Connecticut. She worked at various jobs during the war to help out the war effort. Ed and Lorraine Warren were married on May 22nd, 1945 in Bridgeport, Connecticut. They have one daughter. Judy is married and lives in New Milford, Connecticut. After his World War II service, Ed attended art school. He painted nautical scenes and country landscapes, and his real passion, haunted houses. It's really odd. I'm just going to sidestep. It's really odd that you marry somebody from your hometown. Usually you go outside of your hometown because most people know a lot about the people in their hometown, so they usually marry outside. I think it's kind of a little fascinating effort. But nonetheless, one now famous house that he found was the Ocean-born Mary House in Heinecker, New Hampshire. Ed likes to relate the story as such. I was with Lorraine, another couple that we used to socialize with. We were probably only 19 or 20 years old at the time. We were traveling around New England trying to sell some of our paintings, which I did sell for tremendous pieces and prices, $3 or $4 each. You have to remember that, though, back then, gas was 12 cents a gallon and hot dogs were a dime. And movie was a quarter, so I thought $3 or $4 made on each painting wasn't so bad after all. Anyway, we were driving through New Hampshire, and I see this sign that says Heinecker. Heinecker, Henniker. I looked back at my friend Jerry, who was in the back seat, and said, I heard of a haunted house, the Ocean-born Mary house that was in Heinecker. Jerry looked at me and said, oh, come on, Ed, there must be hundreds. Must be 100 Heineckers. Just then we rounded the corner, and there was a sign that said, this is the only Heinecker on earth, so I guess that solved that argument. Okay. So anyway, he asked some college kids where the house was, and they gave us directions to it. We pulled up front, and man, I got to tell you, it sure looked like a haunted house from the outside. I said to Jerry, who was a real skeptic up to this point, hey, Jerry, why don't you go up to the door and see if they'll let us in? His response was, "Are you crazy? There's no way I'm going up there." So I did the logical thing. I threw Lorraine out of the car and locked the doors. I knew if anybody could get us in, it would be Lorraine with her Irish charm and all. We watched as she knocked on the door. We saw this light in the window high above, then the light reached the lower level, and finally the door opened. We could barely make it out, but soon we saw Lorraine motioning for us to come up. To make a long story short, we all got in the house and spoke to a Mr. Roy, the caretaker. This is the first time Lorraine had ever had a psychic experience. She astrally projected out of her body and hovered above us. Since that time, Lorraine Warren's psychic ability have steadily increased. She's been tested at UCLA under the watchful eye of Dr. Thelma Moss. Her abilities are well documented. Lorraine can best be described as a clairvoyant and a light trance medium. This means she can hear, feel, and sense things through her sensitivity or sixth sense rather than the normal five senses. She can also see a person's aura. Lorraine describes it like this: a person's aura is a supernatural glow that emanates from every living thing. It's the energy that surrounds us. It even surrounds our pets. I can tell quite a lot about a person from this glow. You see an aura produces different colors: blues, hues, greens, red, yellow, and various other shades. They have different intensities to them. Some are bright, some are dull. Sometimes they spike out like fireworks. From the condition of the aura, I can tell a lot about a person. I can tell if they're religious or not, if they have emotional troubles, or even if they have a violent temper. Now, the Warrens have been the nation's top psychic researchers for over 3 decades and have lectured extensively at colleges and universities throughout the country. There were 2 of only a handful of investigators ever allowed into the infamous Amityville horror home, and they have the only pictures ever taken inside the house. The Warrens have had 2 movies made of their cases, one The Haunted from their book, and the other one, The Demon Murder Case, also from their book, The Devil in Connecticut. The Warrens have been featured in 10 books. They are Deliver Us from Evil, The Demonologist, The Devil in Connecticut, number 4, The Haunted, number 5, The Werewolf, Satan's Harvest is number 6, 7, Ghost Hunters, 8, In a Dark Place, 9, Graveyard, and number 10, Ghost Tracks. Ed and Lorraine have had over 55 experiences in the paranormal. No other psychic researchers that we know of have investigated over 4,000 cases or been on almost every radio and talk show in the country, not to mention Great Britain, Japan, Australia, and others. The Warrens investigated both West Point Military Academy and Amityville. They have lectured abroad to the Queen Elizabeth II, have had several movies made from their books before Ed's passing. He and Lorraine gave hundreds of lectures throughout the country. Lorraine Warren continues to give lectures throughout the country. The Warrens have knowledge and experience gleaned through the many decades of investigating and documenting all types of supernatural and preternatural phenomena. As Ed Warren has said many times, if you want to be a turkey, then fly with the turkeys. If you want to be an eagle, then fly with the eagles. So fly with us, be an eagle. All right, let me get to the video. I don't want to take up too much of you guys' time. Let me get to an actual video of when Lorraine is actually talking and giving an interview before the movie The Conjuring had actually come out. So let me do this.
So let's go in. I'll show you the house.
And she's no longer with us as well, so
of us.
They've transitioned.
House. Here's one of the pictures of Ed and I.
You guys were inseparable.
Oh yeah, yeah, we were. We didn't do anything without one another. You're in probably one of the most haunted places in the world because of the things that are in here. Everything in here has been taken from some place where people were either killed or maimed or so many ways. So it's tragic for me, you know, to even go in. People are very, very interested in the museum. And there's some people that are afraid to even go in. Right here is a conjuring mirror. Everything and anything in here we have investigated. Don't ever touch anything. And if you do, let me know. this is the worst thing in here. It's that doll. I'm not gonna stare at it though. So you can take the picture, but I'm not gonna stare at it because that has done bad harm on a lot of people. You have to conjure the spirits in order to get them. You know, you're not going to get them by just walking around here.
And that's the one that's sort of depicted a little bit in this movie, correct?
Yes, it is. Yeah. That's the Annabelle doll. Yes.
Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
What has been done is circular embolism, which is prayers, are said all the time, you know, to pray.
You have a priest to bless.
Yes, definitely. Yes, oh my God, yes. I can't do that.
It's November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn Perrin, who, with her family, has been experiencing supernatural occurrences.
The children were badly affected, really badly affected. That was a terrible place. I mean, that was a very, very, very bad place. It's not easy. It's not easy, you know. You know, you see things and experience things. It's more comfortable now. It's a lot more comfortable for me.
When the music stops, you see him in the mirror standing behind you.
Look what she made me do.
Give us a sign that you...
So, there's that, everybody. What do you guys think? Would you dare want to be caught in that situation? Would you dare want to be one of the investigators in the demonic possessions and things that they've seen? I know I wouldn't. And again, it's just my thoughts. I think that there's something, I always think that there's something. I'm a very spiritual person, so I know, for me personally, some of the things that I've seen. And Viv, if you're watching, you know what I'm talking about, Viv. Seen some bad things. She's seen some bad things. So, hey, again, however you process it, whether you believe it or you don't believe, again, it's your choice. I'm just here to give you some things to talk about and think about in your everyday life. If you're just ever bored and you want to remember what it's like being a kid, or you want to imagine what things that take place that you can't really talk about to other people, but you can actually come in here and go, yeah, I remember that. And make sure you leave a comment. You know, if you have anything you want to share it. Again, new book will be out next month. The Foes of God will be wrapping that bad boy up. Got some gifts in the mail, some mugs from England, which I thought was pretty cool from one of the fans. And yeah, I'm working really hard on that, and I'm going to continue to do stories beyond that. I'm going to keep up with the Benefits of a Bully series and other stories that I've written. I'm going to make a lot of short stories and have them ready for books and things along those lines. So I've taken up a lot of your time as it is. Let me make sure I wrap this thing up and close it out for you guys. But I really appreciate you guys being there with me. I know a few people have unsubscribed because I was talking about other things, and it's just the way that it goes, I guess. But this is predominantly a channel for the fans and people. If you're here because you know I talk about a lot of different things, and every now and then I will talk about life things. But with that being said, make sure, as we close this out, L.A. Kendrick from the Vault of Would You Dare, make sure that you check the dark recesses of your home. Check your closets. Check if you work late at night or into the wee hours of the morning. Check your surroundings. Check under your car. Check inside of your car. Be very vigilant. Make sure you're protecting yourself at all times. There's a lot of evil out here, and you guys see it on a regular basis. Protect yourself at all times again, because you never know what's lurking in the dark, waiting to make you a story. And until next time, you guys fill in the rest.